Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning on our day 4 challenge. Get ready for miracles. And very importantly, we need to make sure that people can hear me, because yesterday we had a bit of a challenge with the mic, and hopefully you can hear me now. So as I'm waiting for you to arrive, I am going to have a little bit of my special drink this morning. Every day I make myself a hot drink to drink in the morning, and typically it is a pint glass with different herbs, with something that is very warming, but at the same time very calming. So today I have oregano and coriander tea. Very strange, isn't it? So please write if, oh yes, morning Gosha, can you hear me? Can you hear me, darling? I would love you to, when you write comments to me, is to write who you are, because this system doesn't see who is writing, because it's broadcasting at the same time to Facebook, to different pages on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. So that's the payment for not being able to see who is writing the lovely comments to me. Okay, so we have already a few people jumping on the live. I'm so grateful to you. It's Sunday. You could be asleep, turning over to the other side. Oh, voice is perfect, fantastic. And so, thank you so much for joining me. So today I am going to talk about something extremely important. It is probably one of the most crucially important things that we can talk about in this whole subject of creating, receiving, allowing miracles to happen in your life. This is completely and totally at the foundational stage of being able to create the kind of life that you want. And it's very much about being open to receive, and even more so asking for help. And so I would love to share with you something that is that I've seen thousands of times. And so some of you know that I am a coach and a therapist and an intuitive in one. So when I see a client coming to me, I use my intuition to hello, Inga. Yes, it's the first day when you woke up early enough. Thank you so much for joining us. Inga, today we're going to speak about something extremely important. The title of this live today is Ask for Help and Be Ready to Receive. Now, so as you know, I see clients sometimes for the whole day session. And when I see them, just before they come, I tune into them. I use my intuition to see where they are, and I look at their greatest talents and potential and their destiny, really, what they're here to achieve, what they're here to give, and the greatness, actually. But at the same time, I also look at how well connected they are to the divine. And what that shows me is how open they are to receive all the support from the visible and invisible sources, the divine love, God, however you want to call it, and how open they are to receive support from people. And this actually shows itself up here around their heart. And so when someone is very open to receive, they have this big channel around their heart that gives and receives in equal measure. Hello, Bartek. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Sunday morning. So when we have a very big channel to give, and most of us do, if you're on this live, you're probably a giver. You're a giver. You are a beautiful person. You give, but you may not be as open to receive. So this channel of receiving may be very narrow. If the channel of receiving is very narrow, you can imagine what happens. There is almost like a blockage. And we may be asking to receive, we could be asking God to receive, the universe, angels, life itself. But if we only give and we are completely closed for receiving, all the goodness may be basically somewhere on its way, but it cannot get through because the channel is not big enough. So for instance, when I look at people intuitively, it could be that they give 70% of the time, or 80, or even 90, even 95%, but they receive 5%. And you see, if that happens, if you only receive 5% of the time, it is very difficult for you to receive all the things that you're asking for. So this is crucially important. I would love you to open up the channels of receiving today, and for the rest of the channel, and then for the rest of your life, be very mindful of that. And we're going to talk about how to do that. But this is the very important point that I wanted to make, is that we need to be open to receive from the universe, from the divine, but we also need to be open to receive from other people. So today I'm going to talk about two ways of asking for help. One is asking for help to the invisible parts of our being. And so this is very close to my heart, you see, and actually you have to be careful not to touch the mic. This is an angel that I've received from a very good friend of mine. And I basically very much have been working with angels for many, many years. And since I was a child, I used to see them, feel them, experience them. And you may have actually listened to one of my interviews about this or not. But today I want to share with you how incredibly important it is. So first, I'm actually going to start with being open to receive from the universe, from the invisible aspects of our creation, of our being. So some of you who are listening here on this live, it's very likely that you may have some sort of faith in God, in the universe, in the greater power. And probably most of you will believe in angels, the guides, the beings of light, which are actually created to support human race and support us in achieving our fullest expansive state of being and return back home to love. And what is actually quite interesting about angels, and sometimes guides and our ancestors who have passed on to the other side, they so much want to help us. They receive so much joy and happiness and fun from helping us. But they cannot do that without us asking for help, because we have a free will and they cannot actually interfere with it. So you can imagine that there are things that they could help us with, and they sort of stand around and go, oh my God, I would really, really like to help her with this. She doesn't have to struggle like that. He doesn't have to push so hard. We can orchestrate it all. But if we do not leave space for them to ask, or we don't acknowledge them, and we don't say, hey, could you help me? They cannot actually do a lot of stuff for us, unless it's in case of some real dangerous situation, when we're driving on a motorway and somehow we're just about to crash into another car and it's not our time. They can interfere and save us. But in everyday life, the importance of honoring the free will is very important. So we need to ask. And they actually, this is something very, very important, what I'm going to say right now. They get so excited when the things that we ask for are big, almost unachievable to our human mind. If it's something extremely big, and let's just say that someone's goal or dream is to touch 1 million people with a special project and or charitable idea, or something that will help a lot of people. But you alone cannot do it. And or someone may have a dream or a wish to find a husband by July 2020, 19, and I know stories like that. Someone has actually set up a intention of finding someone who they want to spend the rest of their life with, but they thought, my God, this is too short, this is not long enough. How will where will they find them? But because we have the invisible connections and synchronicities at play at all times, it can happen in 1 minute. You can walk out of the door, and if you open enough, if all the channels are open, you'll be able to meet them, right? But if you ask for help and you're not ready to receive for whatever reason, you may bump into them, you may actually trip over them, and just basically ignore it and keep on going wherever else you think you should be going to find them. So it's a little bit like calling a friend and saying, hey, listen, could you please give me a lift because it's raining to this, I'm going to this meeting. And the friend saying, okay. And then you somehow not believing that you should be dropped off, that you can be dropped off, that you shouldn't be bothering them, that you should actually be strong enough to get there by yourself. Why should you be asking them? Oh, I don't want to be a burden to anybody. And then you set off in the rain and you walk for 2 hours instead of 10 minutes, a quick drive given by a friend. But the friend arrives and you're not there, you've gone in the rain, and you walk through the mud, the winds, and the cold, and you struggle by yourself. It's a little bit like, I've been there many, many times. I needed some help, but it didn't even occur to me that I may actually ask someone. I believe that I need to do it by myself. And it's not that I like to struggle, but I believe I have to be strong. That's how I was brought up, and some of you may actually resonate with this. I would love to ask you today to ask in a different way. When you ask the whole universe, you ask all the angels, you ask God, you ask your every single being on this planet to support you, and then be ready to receive it. Feel grateful already at that very moment you're asking. Be ready to receive it, and be ready to receive it by feeling grateful. We were doing this the other day. We were writing a future scripting where we are feeling grateful for what we want to receive. Today's life is very connected with it. But it happens a little bit more on an energetical level. Because if you ask for something, you absolutely and totally need to be ready to receive it. And this is how we get ready to receive miracles. This is how we open up to miracles, but being ready. And so, as I said, let's say angels, but it could be, you could be asking just directly God, Christ, Mother Mary, whatever you resonate. You can be asking your spiritual guide for help. But when you do that, I would love you to think about one thing. Often people feel unlovable and unworthy to receive anything good, or receive big things. And so when you asking for help and say, hey, angels, archangels, could you please help me with this live today, so the mic works perfectly, that all the technology works brilliantly, that the right people who need to be here are here, and then this live goes to thousands of people across the world, helps them to open up to receive. Can you please help me with this? You need to feel I need to feel worthy enough to go and reach millions of thousands of people on this planet with this message. I need to feel that what I'm saying is good enough. Because if I don't, and I ask, but I close down, it will not go where it needs to go. I hope does that make sense, guys? Can you please write something for me and tell me if this actually makes any sense whatsoever, and if this is helpful? And so angels, there's something very interesting about angels, and I often, when I work with people, when what I'm saying is true or it's right, I see a flash of light appearing somewhere near the person I'm working with. Or even when I'm alone, if I come up with something important, and I feel like I have crossed the threshold, something important happened in my mind, there is a flash of light happening as well, as a sign of confirmation. This is absolutely the right path. This is absolutely the right thing. And so we have those angels, those guides around us, if you can imagine, every single moment of our life. And not only our guardian angel is with us, behind us and with us, but we have different angels that are called like unemployed angels that would love to help, that they don't have a specific person to look after. But if we ask them for help, they could help us to heal. They could help our friends to heal, a family member to heal. But we need to ask them to get to work on our behalf and feel lovable, precious, and receivable. We need to be receivable enough to receive the love, the support, and the guidance. What do we ask for? We ask for everything. I would say there is not one thing that is too small or too big for God, for our invisible supporters, for angels. Everything is important. We are important. Our journey is important. So why not make it easier so we are of greater service and greater help? I actually do my best to hand over everything to the higher realms, surrender it, ask for help, ask for love, ask for support. When we're setting off on the road to go somewhere, I ask for help. When I see a client, I give this over to the divine. I don't want to have the whole responsibility on my shoulders because I have a limited amount of seeing, understanding, and impact. I just want to be surrounded by the whole universe of supporters and love, God himself, and angels and guides at any given time. So when you ask for something and you say, angels, archangels, God, whatever you feel connected to, could you please help me? What I would like you to do from today is at the same time imagine this beautiful channel of love opening from your heart and from the top of your head, and it's like a doorway of receiving, just physically in your mind at the beginning, especially at the beginning. It doesn't have to happen all the time, but especially at the beginning, imagine that you're opening it up like a doorway in the morning, opening a window to let the sunshine in. This is exactly the same thing. You're opening the window and door for the universe to bring you what you're asking for. But if we don't do that, we still may receive what we've asked for, but it may not come to us as quickly or as readily or as effortlessly as you could possibly imagine. So is that doesn't make sense? Is that clear? And I can't tell you how important it is, because I've seen it so many times in my own life, but also with my clients, that they ask sometimes and then somehow they don't believe, they retreat the energy and they close the door. So when we ask, you keep the door open, completely open. And when that happens, you're not only going to be able to receive it, but also you will be channeling the miracles and the possibilities to other people. Because your energy, open field of possibilities, open mind, open heart, open channels, open doors to receiving will have impact on everybody around you wherever you go, okay? Because our energies connect with other people. So this is the first one. Now, the second thing I want to ask you to think about is receiving and asking for help to people, asking other people for help. Now, this has been a bit of a challenge for me personally, because you see, I've been always asking angels for help. I've been always connected with them since I was a child, and so many miracles have happened for me in my life. It's unbelievable. But I wasn't so successful and okay about asking other people for help, okay? And so sometimes people are better with asking other people, but they are not so good with asking the divine love. and sometimes they are not good at asking anybody. And so here's the thing. If you think about asking other people as a form of a shameful activity, I shouldn't be asking them for help. They have enough of their own problems. They're already busy. They have their own life. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to take their time. So when you actually do that, you know what happens? Not only you're closing the doorway to receiving from them, but also you are stopping them from having the joy, the expansion, the delight of being the source of your joy, the source of your support. And this is what I was saying earlier. If your channel, there are two channels, one is giving and one is receiving. If the channel that you receive through is very narrow or almost non-existent, the people who are around you will feel a little bit challenged by that, because they will not be able to be as generous, as giving, as loving as they could be, right? They want to be generous. You know, when someone calls you and says, hey, I would love to ask you for an advice. How do you feel? You feel quite delighted that someone is asking you to contribute in their life, or someone asks you, hey, could you please help me with this? It's so important to me. And then you help them. You've done a good job. And then they thank you from the bottom of their heart. How does that feel? It makes them a bigger person. It boosts their karma. It opens their energy up. It makes them feel like there is a reason why they're here. So let's please not stop people from being able to give you. As I said, I was brought up in a way that you are strong. You need to be clever. You need to be sorted. You need to be on your case. You need to plan. You need to be strong enough. You don't ask other people for help. And even, I mean, my parents never said don't ask for help, but they didn't particularly ask for help themselves. So I didn't see that sort of programmed into me as something that was good, powerful, positive, and lovely. No, you needed to be strong enough to do it. So what I'm here to tell you today, and I'm going to slow down when I'm saying this, asking people for help, it's crucially important to take you from where you are going right now to where you need to be. Because we can't actually get to big places alone. We're not meant to, and we are not programmed as a being to do that all by ourselves. In fact, I don't know if you know about this research. It's called Power of Eight, that Lynn McTaggart actually has written a book a few years ago called The Power of Eight, where she talks about how powerful it is when 8 people come together with an intention and hold intention for each other, what incredible miracles happen. So if you do something, if you hold the intention for yourself only, and you ask for help, the angels, it can happen easily enough. But if you have other people holding the intention for you, and in a group of high intention people, they hold the intention for you, they wish you well, and they physically maybe help you somehow, they do things for you, they speak to other people on your behalf, then that's what we're talking. That's when we're talking about miracles. This is really where the miracles start, when people come together in order to hold intention. It works brilliantly with healing. So if someone gets sick and they go, oh my God, I'm scared, I may die. If a group of people come together and hold intention for their loving recovery, it will be much more likely that it will happen. It's a form of prayer. You know, there's been long documented research for years and years about the power of prayer, the power of intention. And so if you have a big goal, you may want to think about setting a group of supporters around you where you ask them to support you and you can support them back. Again, I know I'm keep on repeating myself, but it's extremely important to ask for support from the right people. They need to believe in your goal. I actually have to say to you, I have a friend, her name is Fiona. Fiona, if you're listening to it, you are such an inspiration to me. But 11 or 12 years ago, she was diagnosed with, I don't think one cancer, it was two cancers. It was so serious that she only had few weeks to live. And she just decided she made a decision to live. And then she thought, okay, how am I going to do it? And she went to every single person in her family and her friends. And she says, look, I've been giving a diagnosis. I'm going to die within the next few weeks or maximum few months. And there is nothing that the doctors can do for me. They can't even prolong my life anymore. I'm that sick. Do you believe I can get better? And the people who said, Fiona, let's look at this. Let's be realistic. Come on, get ready, organize yourself, get the funeral in order. And for those people, she said, thank you very much. At the moment, we're not going to be in touch. And she just hanged around with people who 100% believed that she can get better. So she received support from them. She did whatever she needed to do. And now 12 years later, she's still around, life and kicking and very healthy. But she only had the people around who did support her and who did believe that she can achieve it. So if you have a big goal, something that feels like, wow, I don't know if I'll be able to receive it, to get there, to achieve it, then ask people to support you who absolutely are on the same track vibrationally, who believe in you. In fact, be quite careful about sharing your big goals with people who think that you are unrealistic, silly. And for those people, they may not need to know that you have this goal. Michelle, good morning. Speaking sense as usual. Thank you so much for your comment, Michelle. Absolutely, thank you. And so we have those two channels, right? One is the channel of receiving from the divine, and I would love you to just basically practice asking for help every day, asking your angels, but also the unemployed angels, to help you to achieve anything you want. You can ask them also to help the people around you. So whatever you're doing, you may be going to see a client or going to work, ask the angels to support not just you, but the people who are going to be around you. Of course, holding intention and asking for help for the rest of the world, it's actually quite important. Like now we're talking about the fires in Australia and all the unrest in the Middle East. Sometimes I used to think, well, what can I do? Well, the war is going on. I can't really do very much. But actually, I was highly mistaken, because if more and more people hold the intention for the fires to come down, for the situation to be resolved lovingly and peacefully, then it will happen. And it will happen more easily and effortlessly. I remember I went to a lecture one day, and I was listening to a psychic who was predicting certain things for the future, but also she was saying that we were at one point in the world at the very crucial point that we could have actually been almost completely destroyed through war or through climatic change. But there was a point when it shifted, and she said it was the millions of people meditating around the world, holding intention, that has actually taken us over through the worst possible point. Now, I know that we are not there. We have a long way to go as humanity. But as more and more people chip in, hold the intention. So obviously, when you ask for help, do also ask for help, not just for yourself, but for the universe, for the planet, for the earth, for the other people. Okay, so we know about the divine connection, and then we know about asking for help. So I have a homework for you, okay? I have a homework for you that I would love you to do, and I would love you to share as well what the results were underneath this video, if you could, because I keep on rereading the comments, and when people add the comments later, I go like, that's amazing. Thank you very much. So my request to you, the homework is this. It's two parts to this homework. One is that I want you to do something unusual outside of your normal, typical, automatic way that you do things. Okay. So number one, I would love you to make a list of all your desires and the things that are really heart-centered, soulful, that you are absolutely know you want, and they are good for you, for others, and for the whole planet. So those are the heart-centered goals we've mentioned yesterday. And when you make this list, I would like you to ask the higher source, the universe, the angels, the guides, whoever you want to ask. You can write a letter. Sometimes when people write a letter, it's a lot more powerful. You can ask in prayer or meditation, but you can also write a letter. And it could go like this. If you, let's say, dear angels, as you know, I need to get somewhere or move to New Zealand with ease and grace with my family, and find a job and find a house. Could you make this move easy, effortless, and gentle? So I meet the right people, the right guides, the right resources. Everything will come to us easily. And you can specifically ask your angel, guardian angel, God, Christ, whatever you resonate with. Okay, but you do surrender it to the higher source, much bigger than we are. So that's the one thing I would like you to do. And the second thing, equally important, I want you to look at this list and think, who else can I ask from the live people, from my friends, my clients, people I don't know, people I would never ask, people I would never dare to ask about anything. Why would they speak to me? I want you to do something incredibly big. I want you to do something bold. Do a bold ask. So when you look at the list of things that you want, I want you to make a phone call, send an email, go and speak to someone, and do something that you would never dare to do. Okay? Why am I asking you to do this? Because it will open this field of receiving. It will challenge and stretch your muscles of giving and receiving. Because sometimes you think you're going to ask someone for help, but in actuality, while you're speaking to them, while you're receiving things from them, you actually may see something that you can help them with. An amazing partnership may be formed through this conversation. So remember, when you're asking for help, it's never one-sided. They're receiving joy, pleasure, and happiness and expansion when they're giving to you. But you may actually be there to help them more than you can imagine. So get into the habit of asking for help. I am going to do more of it this year. And so let me practice, okay? So for instance, if I was to do this homework myself, and I will, I would write a letter to my angels and say, listen, angels, as you know, on the 19th of January, I have this course. Could you please fill the room with people who need to be there, who are ready for expansion, who are ready for miracles, who are ready to shift their life and have the best possible year in 2020. Please bring them there. So the right people come, and may you connect me synchronistically with the right people who they will let the other people know. And thank you so much for the support in making this course the best course I've ever run in my entire life. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so here's, I've asked for help, the angels. And then I need to do the same thing with real people. So now I'm asking you guys, the people who are listening to this live, if it is still before 19th, because it may be after the 19th of January, so if it is before the 19th of January, I'm asking you this. Could you think of one person who's not listened to this live, but they may benefit from it? Could you please share it with them? That's number one request from me to you. And secondly, could you think of people who may benefit from coming to the course, but they don't know about it? Can you think about people and send them information, let them know, this is my request to you. Okay, I'm asking you. I don't like asking because it feels like, oh, I don't want to bother people, but I'm going to create the most incredible shifts for people. So I need to be more generous to you and to them and ask for help. So I've just done that. So I want you to do the same. Write a letter, ask the universe for help, and then do the same. It could be for the same goal, it could be for something else. Call someone, send them an email, go and see them and ask them, listen, I've been struggling, I've been feeling very lonely, I've been feeling depressed, I know I shouldn't be feeling depressed, can you please help me, can we talk, can you listen to me? You can actually do a big ask to your to the partner, if you have a partner, if your husband, to your children. Do something that you would not ask them for because you don't want to bother them, okay? And I would love you to think what you want to receive. What are the list of your desires? What are the list of the things that you need in your life to make your life easier, more delightful, more happy, more peaceful, more successful, and more miraculous? Okay, so that's your homework. So that's done. So remember, we are opening today and for the rest of your life the gateways, the doorways, the windows to receiving miracles, receiving expansive life, receiving love. You deserve it. You absolutely are love, and you need to receive all the things that you're asking for. So ask for them and immediately open those windows and doors to receive while you're asking. And you opening, you can physically see them and imagine them and open them up at the same time when you're asking people, the universe, for help. So we're going to finish off with a meditation, and we're going to practice this now. We're going to practice receiving and opening the gateways to miracles in our life. So could you please, if you're not driving, take a deep breath in and close your eyes. And go back right into your heart. Breathe through your heart. Breathe gently, breathe slowly, breathe softly. And as you're breathing through your heart, I would love you to see this beautiful golden light turning around in your heart in all directions, and it sparkles and it throws magical dust, love, greatness, generosity, fun, wisdom, blessings to all the people around you. So it sparkles, and wherever you go, you bring miracles and goodness into everybody you meet. And it's just not around the people that you meet, but the sparkles and the light expands for the whole planet, to the whole planet, and it goes beyond. And with this generous, loving energy, I want you to imagine that you are holding in your arms the whole planet and everything that is actually happening right now all over the world, which is not that great. So imagine that the heart opens up even more, and the love and light pours into all the people who need our help right now. The people who are struggling, the people who are experiencing fire, shooting, unrest, loneliness, illness. Just see that the love that you have is making a difference to them, and the light is pouring out of your heart, out of your energy, out of your mind, out of every single cell in your body. And now, when the light is pouring out, I want you to imagine that you have this channel around your heart through which you receive other people's help. And I want you to look at it and see how big it is. Is it small? Is it huge? Is it large? Is it non-existent? Just have a look and have a sense and a feel of. So some people are visual, some people feel things. If you were to be able to see how open it is, it's open 10%, 90%, 50%. This gateway, this channel of receiving. Have a look at it. And then look at the channel that you give through. How big is it? This channel of receiving, how big is it? And So you have two channels, giving and receiving. I would love you to now mentally and spiritually open them all up. So you can give more, but you can also receive more. So if it's only open 50% with your mind and intention, imagine you opening it up a bit wider, and you're saying to yourself quietly in your mind, I am opening up to receive all the love, miracles, and goodness. Because as I receive, I can give more. I deserve to receive. I'm ready to receive. And I love myself enough to receive so that I can give more as well. So this is one channel. And then you see there is another channel above your head that goes all the way up to the divine, that connects you with all the visible and invisible sources of support, your ancestors, your guides, God, universe, however you want to call it. But it sort of goes above your head, and see how open it is. And I want to see if you were like a plumber and something was blocked, imagine you unblock it right now. And you make it big and wide and as big as the universe. So you're connected to everything and everyone all over the world. So you can receive at any time, even without asking. You always receive everything you need anyway. And so now, when those two channels are open, I would like you to think about something that you would love to receive for the next few months, in the next few months, this year. And I want you to think about having it already and feel grateful for having it. Whatever that it is, hold it in your heart and feel grateful that you already have it. And when you feel grateful that you already have it, please make sure that your channels of receiving are still open, and make sure that they are even more open than you've ever had them before. Think of the thing you want to receive. Hold this in your mind. Hold this in your heart. Feel grateful you've already received it. It is done. It is done. It is done. And then take a deep breath in. Breathe out. Come back to your body. Come back to your heart. And open your eyes. So thank you very much for joining me today. Please share this live with other people. Send it to them. And remind other people about the course on the 21st. And from today onwards, become an amazing receiver. And keep that in mind and challenge yourself with asking for things you would never ask for. And this is just a test. This is an experiment. This is just like going into the gym and using the muscles you've never used before. And I guarantee if you do that, confidence and regularity, you will start receiving things that you've never expected, but also you'll become a source of miracles for other people, because they will be able to learn from you and ask you questions. How do you do that? Where does this luck come from in your life? So have a beautiful day, sending you lots of love, and I see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Lots of love.